differences between Cree and Dene on the one hand and French and English on the other. Between that is Aboriginal languages and their European counterparts, keeping in mind that I am nominally familiar with at least one other in the former category, namely Ojibwe, and with at least 4 others in the latter, among them Spanish and German. But the fundamental difference has to do with gender and its immediate offshoot, namely the aliveness or deadness of nature. European languages are obsessed by the question of gender. They divide the universe into that which is male and that which is female. In English, less so than in French or German, say. In the monotheistic superstructure that they define, God is male with a capital M, then there is male with a small m, followed by female with a small f, followed by nature and hell, for that matter, which are genderless, which are its. The question students always ask being, where in the superstructure is female with a capital F? And the answer, nowhere. There is no such thing as female with a capital F in such a design. Because this design, in the final analysis, is a phallic superstructure, a hierarchic straight line that goes from God as male at the top to male to female to neutral at the bottom, with one level of power having complete and utter power over the next. And there is room for 2 genders only, with one at the complete mercy of the other, and God help the person who dares try to cross that gender divide. Aboriginal languages, on the other hand, divide their universe not into genders, but into that which is animate and that which is inanimate. That is which has a soul and that which has not. Gender, or a hierarchy thereof, having no significance, we are all, when all is said and done, he, she's, as is God, one would think. The resulting superstructure being thus not a straight line of monotheism, but the circle, the womb of pantheism. A system wherein God is in nature. God is biology, God is the land. A ionic superstructure, that is to say, as opposed to one that is phallic. A design, in other words, where there is room and plenty of it for more than just 2 genders. And so goes the argument, just to avoid another case of our late Cree sister, Helen Buddy Osborne, who was murdered by being stabbed in the vagina 56 times with a screwdriver, to avoid another case of Robert Picton and his 29 victims, to avoid another Prince George to Prince Rupert trail of tears where dozens of Native women continue to be murdered in cold blood, we need 56 genders, to my way of thinking, if only to honor those 55 screwdriver stabs. A woman, in any case, according to the system, is animate. She has a soul. Anna is squeal. The article anna being the operative principle, the le or la in French, the der, die, or das of German. The man has a soul, anna naapiu, as does the tree, anna siiti, the cow, anna mustos, the rock, anna assini. All annas, so to speak, they all have souls. They all have a place of equality on that circle of living, breathing beings. And the only way you can make them inanimate is to remove their souls, so that a woman who has died automatically becomes anima miya, the corpse. Ditto for the man, the dead tree is made into a chair, anima kitapuin, making that chair a tree without a soul. The dead cow is made into a roast, anima wiyas. The rock is crushed into cement and made into a sidewalk, transforming that sidewalk, anima miskano, into a rock without a soul. The operative word in all this being the article anima. And because the straight line of heaven to hell doesn't exist, all these dead don't go to either. Once they die, they merely get translated into another form of energy where they go to another part of that same circle, which is why the earth is such a magical place, because the dead, your brother, your sister, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, son, daughter, best friend, all of whom are gone, are still here with us. Not as a ghost, but as blade of grass, leaf of tree, ray of sunshine, a warm summer breeze, the blood in your veins. And biology, not man, but the planet, has pride of place in the great scheme of things. And so goes the argument. Now let's take this equation of animate, inanimate one level deeper. All the parts of the human body by themselves are inanimate. The head by itself, anima mystigon, has no soul. You will notice the article anna has now been replaced by the article anima. The hand, anima michiichi, has no gender, as does the leg, anima miskat. The stomach, anima wate. The bladder, anima oui. That's how you call it, bladder. Just like in French when you say, when you agree with something, you go, oui. The bladder, anima oui. Even the heart by itself is soulless, anima uti. The penis, dead as a doorknob. Sorry, boys. The only parts of the human body that by themselves have a soul are the vagina and the womb, which is where the concept of God as female rests rock solid, which is where the female with the capital F belongs, right smack in the center of that ionic circle. But then there is one other organ that I can't tell you about that by itself has a soul. You'll just guess which one it is, but I'll give you 3 hints. Both men and women have it. European languages were evicted from a certain garden, the garden of joy, the garden of beauty, the garden of pleasure at a certain point in their emotional history. Aboriginal mythology theology has no such narrative. So to them, therefore, northern Manitoba is still a garden. Northern Alberta is still a garden. And that third human organ that by itself has a soul lives in the center of that original garden, that is the human body. Third hint. It is the human body's funniest, most ridiculous looking part. The birthplace of the trickster, that cosmic clown. You might hear it tonight as you're brushing your teeth. In English, it will disgust because the garden, finally, is disgusting. In Cree, you will laugh until you weep. From which concept, wonder of wonders, arises the concept of a goddess who laughs, and laughs, and laughs, and laughs, etc., etc., etc. Don't let any of this upset or even scare you, ladies and gentlemen, because Cree is a dying language. English will live on forever. Long live God as male, and death to all other genders. Death to the earth. You see, without speaking other languages, you would never know these facts. You would never know that such a vision of life, one so different from yours, existed. There is simply no other way of finding such information. Speaking one language, it's like living in a house with one window only. That's all you see is that one perspective, when, in point of fact, dozens, hundreds of other perspectives exist, and one must, at the very least, listen to them. Then at age almost 7,